Welcome, guys. Welcome to this live stream. Um, I did not even advertise that I'm going to go live, but I decided that I should go live with the information that came across in my mind, that came across my mind, that I should share with you. That it is urgent. The more we delay this information, the more we get it, the more we struggle financially, the more we stress, um, the more we stress from um, a lot of things that affect us every day because of our unstable financial situation. So today, guys, the point that I want to share with you is, do you know how much money that goes out of your pocket or your account every day? Do you know how much money that goes out of your pocket or your bank account or your mobile money every day? Guys, this is a very important point, a very important point that a lot of people struggle with without knowing. A lot of people struggle with without knowing. Professionals call it unconscious competent. Unconscious competent. You need to be conscious competent. What do I mean? When you are unconscious competent, you do things without knowing. It's either you are doing the wrong thing without knowing, or you are doing the right thing without knowing. You need to know what you are doing. You need to know what is going on. And this happens a lot, guys, in a lot of people. For example, in my life, it has happened a lot of times. In fact, for quite some time, because I did not know how much money I spend every single day, how much money I spend every single month, every week. And how did I discover this? How did I learn about this? I learned about this when I was complaining, and then I had the mentor that guide me, that I always every month, goes by the name of Francis Holmes. He's a great mentor. You can follow him on LinkedIn, Francis Holmes. He's a great mentor of mine who helped me understand this concept. How did he help me understand this concept? He did not sit me down and explain it, but he just gave me a app. He gave me a app that gave me the discovery. I was complaining about the money I was making, the profit that I was making, that it wasn't enough. Then he said, do you know how much money that goes out of your account? Do you know how much money that you spend every single day? And I said, no. All right. Then he gave me a app. He sent me a link via WhatsApp. A app. It's called. You can guys look it up on Apple Store or on Google Play Store if you are using Android. It's called Spending Tracker. There in the Spending Tracker, it has categories. Whatever expenses that you have, for example, if you buy cooking oil, you can put a category in that spending. You buy cooking oil, you like you every time you buy cooking, when you add the amounts there, when choosing the category, you go on the category of cooking oil. When you do that, then keep doing that in every category that you are spending. If it is electricity, you do the same thing. Then at the end of the month, you can review how much you spend on cooking, or how much you spend on that, how much you spend on that. And then it will also talk about all the categories that you are spending money on. It will pause, and then it will give you how much money you have spent at the end of the day in total, or at the end of the month in total, or at the end of the week in total. So back to the story. When I got that, I started doing as I'm explaining, and then I discovered I almost collapsed when I discovered how much money I was spending at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the day. And those gave me idea and insights that my spending situation was not healthy. It's not what I was complaining about. The problem was the spending that I was making. The spending that I was doing was the problem, not the money. So I started trimming expenses, unnecessary expenses. I started trimming them. I started removing and stopped spending on things that were not necessary. That, guys, very important. It's very, very important when you do it. If you don't do it, if you underestimate it that it is not really that necessary, you will be surprised when you try to do it. Just try to do it. If you do not really like the idea, just try to do it for a single day. Try it for just a single week. Then you'll be surprised with the expense that you are sitting on, the money that you are spending. That gave me an insight that I should not complain about how much money I make, how much money I have. I have to first know how much money I spend. When I know how much money I spend, then I can complain, or then I can think about how much money I need to make, how much money I need. Because maybe you are making a lot of money and you do not know that you are making a lot of money because the expenses are eating a big chunk of the money that you are making. So you are always complaining, you are always coming up short with the money that you are making. The reason that you are not aware of is the expenses that are eating that amount. So guys, I advise you, I urge you that you need to start tracking every coin that goes out of your pocket. If you don't do that, you continuously complain about how much you make, or how much you have, or how difficult your financial life is. You continuously complain. The reason is because you do not know how much money you are spending. I was watching a certain YouTube video from a Kenyan YouTuber. Excuse me, guys. From a Kenyan YouTuber, he was saying there is no such thing as small money. There is no such thing as small money. The only thing that will get into your head and think that the money I have is little, the money I have is small, I do not have enough money, I don't make enough money, it's because the expenditure is high. Your expenses are high, and you are not aware that the expenses are high. So as a result, you continuously complain about the money that you have, about the money that you make, because expenses are eating a big chunk of the money that you have, the money that you make. So guys, It's very, very important that you track every coin, you track every penny that goes out of your pocket. If you don't do that, you continuously complain about how hard the situation is, how hard the situation is, how hard the economy is, how hard the things are, how difficult your financial life is. Money is never enough. The more you have, the more you need more of it. So you continuously need more money. You continuously need more money to feel safe. As a result, the more you have, when you say I need $100, when you have that $100, you say if it was $200, it would have been amazing because I would have cleared that and that. When you have that $200, the same thing will come into your mind that if I had $300, then it would have been ABC. If I had the $300, then it would have been ABCD. So you continuously complain about how much money you have. You continuously complain about how much you need to feel financially safe, to feel financially secure. So, guys, it's very important that you track every coin that you make. If you do not do that, you continuously complain, and your financial life will never improve. It's very important that you track every pen, every coin that goes out of your pocket. If you don't do that, you continuously complain. You'll be always coming up short with the money that you have. So, when you discover how much money you are spending every month and you are surprised with how much money you are spending, now you need to create and start working on the second two, which is budgeting. A budgeting is very important, guys. If you don't budget, if you don't light a budget, a budget doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you make. A budget starts at any amount that you make. Someone may have 50 cents and then he starts planning. Or in this 50 cents that I have, I'll buy a bottle of water, or I'll buy this, or I buy that, I'll buy that. That is budgeting. So if you have observed there, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how much money you make. When it comes to a budget, you have to make a budget regardless of how much money you have or regardless of how much money you make. You need to light a budget so that the money that you have can be guided on what it's supposed to be spent on. If the budget is not there, then you will be spending money on things that are not even necessary. Now that will lead to a problem of silly expense, silly expenses. So you need to light a budget. Whenever you want to buy something, whenever you receive money, you need to sit down and budget. How much money am I going to spend on A? How much money am I going to spend on B? How much money am I going to spend on C? And how much money am I going to save in my account in case of an emergency? You only do that when you develop a habit of always making a budget. When you develop a habit of budgeting, the only people, guys, who do not light a budget are wealth people. People with money that they cannot spend, even if they decided to spend city, they cannot finish it. Wealth people. But do you know that most of the wealth people who are financially disciplined live on a budget? That's why they continuously stay on top. That's why they are constantly and every day, every year, their wealth is growing. It's because they live on a budget. They know that every month they spend a certain amount. Every month they set a deal. They know how much they are spending. Now, if you are struggling, why shouldn't you light a budget? Why shouldn't you live on a budget? How are you going to get out of the situation that you are in if you do not live on a budget? A budget is the only thing that will save you out of the mess that you are in financially. If the budget is not there, no one is going to come and save you. Even if they give you money, you will continuously be in that situation. So, guys, the budget is very important. You need to write a budget. Doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much money you are making. A budget starts at a penny. A budget starts at a coin. In our Zambian currency, we have a 15 way. When you have a 15 way, you will decide what am I going to buy with the 15 way that I have, or I'll buy sweets. That is a budget. You have planned. You know what you are going to spend that money on. So a budget starts from the smallest amount of money that you make. Only the wealth and some, only the some spend money without a budget because they have excessive amount of money. But those who are struggling financially, those who are poor, they need to live on a budget. I live on a budget. It's not an easy thing, but we need to constantly and continuously practice living on a budget. That is the only way we are going to climb on that ladder to the top. If we don't do that, we'll continuously struggle under the base of the pyramid and we'll never get to the top and we'll never climb any step. So, guys, live on a budget. Live on a budget. Whenever money gets into your account, before you buy anything, first live on a budget. Sometimes you'll be surprised uh, when you receive money and you do not light a budget, and then you start thinking, I think I need to buy this, I need to buy that. And then when you sit down and plan and light a budget, what you really need, you'll find that the first thoughts that came into your mind that you are going to spend money on were silly. Because you find that after buying what you really need, you find that there is almost nothing left. There is almost nothing left. So those who struggle financially, the mistake that they make is when money comes in, they do not light a budget, they just start spending that money. When they finish spending the money, then they discover that there are some of the most important things that they really needed, and the money is all spent on things that are not necessary, on things that are useless, and they struggle, and they will need money, and they start asking for money while they had enough money that they wouldn't have needed help, or they wouldn't have needed to ask for anyone to give them a hand financially. What caused the situation? It's because they did not budgeted the money that got into their account. So, guys, I urge you that you start living on a budget. You start living on a budget. When you live on a budget, you spend on things that you need, you are sacrificing today so that tomorrow you can live a better life, so that tomorrow you can afford anything. Not going to afford anything tomorrow is because you sacrificed today. If you do not sacrifice today, you are going to struggle tomorrow. If you try to enjoy today, you are going to struggle tomorrow. Which one would you prefer? I would prefer I struggle today, then I can enjoy tomorrow. How do I do that? I need to be disciplined with the money that I have today so it can multiply. When it can multiply, I can get on top of that pyramid of the elite wealth, then I can afford anything. Then I can live the life that I want. Then I can live the life and give a hand to those that need it without complaining. There is a famous quote which says, "You cannot help the poor by being one of them." A empty bucket cannot help anyone. If you don't have anything, how can you give something? You can't. You only give a hand when you have. If you don't, you won't. So, guys, I urge you that you live on a budget, that you stick to a budget, that you follow a budget, that you stay disciplined with the budget, that you practice living on a budget, that you track every coin that goes out of your pocket. So that at the end of the day, when you say that I spent city, the expenses were high. I think this is silly. I shouldn't do this. When tomorrow comes, you say that yesterday I spent silly, so today I need to be mindful with the money. I need to be careful with the money. I need to be strict with the money. That will help you not to spend silly tomorrow. You have a reflection, you have a review of yesterday, and you do have those numbers. So you know that, oh, yesterday I spent silly. It shouldn't be like this. So today, let me try by all means to make up for the expenses that I made yesterday to be reduced. That if yesterday I spent $200, let me try by all means to spend only $50 so that I can split that 200 with the 2 days. Instead of spending 200, today I spend 200. Instead of tomorrow spending another 200, which will get to 400, I try by all means to cut unnecessary things so that in the 2 days, instead of getting to 400 in expenses, I only get to 250. And that is much better. And if you continuously do that, all the money that you are cutting from those unnecessary expenses will go back into your account. And when that account gets fat, that is the only time that it will start taking care of you. When that money is cut from those unnecessary things that we are supposed to spend on, it will go back. If you are an entrepreneur, it will go back to your business. And what is going to happen to your business? Your business will grow automatically. So, guys, let us be mindful. Let us be disciplined. Let us be frugal with how we spend money. That is the only thing that will save us in this life. That is the only thing that will give us financial freedom. That is the only thing that will give us financial peace. Dave Ramsey has a great book, Total Money Makeover. I've read it. It's a wonderful book. And he has created a university called the Financial Peace University. What did he call it? Financial peace. Financial peace. We are interested in financial peace. We want you to be financially peaceful. This video is intended for you to live peacefully when it comes to your finances. If you want to take good care of your family, you know that you are safe. You know that your family is safe when it comes to things that are concerned with the money. Alex Amos, I don't know where he borrowed the quote. He said, if the problems that you have can be solved with money, it means that you do not have a problem. It means that you do not have a problem. If the problems that you have today can be solved with money, it means you do not have a problem. Why is this saying that it means that you do not have a problem? Because if money is available, then that problem is no longer there. If money is available, that problem is no longer there. But if money is not there, then it is struggle, it is stress, then it is problems, then it is complaining, then there is no peace. Guys, we should respect money. How do we respect money? We should respect money by spending on things that we need, by spending on things that are important, by spending on good causes. How do we how do we disrespect money? We disrespect money by spending on silly things that we do not need. A latest phone, beer, smoking, or other useless things that we do not really need, that will not help us become financially better. So the only way that you become financially peace is by respecting money. How do you respect money? Like I've said, you only spend money on things that you really need. You only spend money on the important things. That is how you respect money. So guys, I urge you that you track. We have talked about tracking every coin that goes out of your pocket. We have discussed about when money gets into your account, when you make money, before you decide on what you are going to spend that money on, first light a budget. Light a budget, light what is important, light what you really need. Then you will see how much money is left. Then you need to prioritize saving. When you light what you really need, then pick the things that you only need. The remaining amount should be spent on things that are important. The other remaining amount should go into your savings account. That is how you become financially secure. That is how you become financially peaceful. So guys, we need to stick on those. We need to stick on those. We need to live on a budget. We need to protect our money by only spending on things that we only need, and that will help us in the situation that we are in. That is the only thing that will save us from the struggles that we are in. That is the only thing that will help us that tomorrow we can have that financial peace. It's by being disciplined with our money. How do we stay disciplined with our money? We are always conscious on things that we spend money on. We only spend money on things that we need. We only spend money on good causes. That is how we secure our future. That is how we guarantee that our future will be better. It doesn't matter whether you are in employment, you need to think twice before you spend the money that you get. Even if you are if you even if you are you are addicted, excuse me, even if you are addicted with something, you need to try by all means, you need to fight that addiction so that you can live a better future tomorrow. Because if you do not fight it and if you let it control you, what is going to happen is that you are going to struggle in the future. And to make it worse, you struggle twice because you struggle with the addiction in the future. Now it is deep in you because you have grown with it and you have gotten hold. And then you struggle because you do not have a financial basket. You do not have a financial buffer that can absorb the things life throws at you that will break you. That is how you secure a better future. So, guys, I just thought that I should go live. I was supposed to update you uh, some days before that I'll be going live, but this is an idea that just came across my mind, and I thought it is very urgent that I should share with you guys with this information that I've found to be very helpful, that has really helped me, that I've seen a very big impact in my life. So I thought that I should share it as quickly as I can so it can save as many as we can. If we look at if you look at the statistics of how many people who are living better, how many people who are financially secure compared to how many people who are struggling, the number, guys, is crazy. We need to start reducing that number of people who are struggling by sharing such information as this, and the people who are getting this information put the information into practice, share the information with others like I've done, so we can save as much and as many as we can. Thank you guys for watching. Whatever questions that you have regarding on what we are discussed here, please let's share. I'm also not an expert. I'm not financially successful. I'm not the richest guy. I'm not very wealthy. I'm also just a student like you. And I'm trying to live a better future by practicing these principles. I'm not just teaching you this, I'm also teaching myself these things. And if I teach it to you, then I'm also teaching it to myself so that I can be a better teacher by applying what I'm teaching. So thank you guys for watching. Bye bye. The stream is coming to an end. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.